The Spanish Habsburg dynasty, spanning from 1516 to 1700, represents one of the most compelling chapters in European history, marked by unparalleled power, vast territorial expansion, and ultimately a tragic downfall precipitated by generations of inbreeding. Originating from the Austrian House of Habsburg, the Spanish branch was established when Charles III, also known as Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, ascended the Spanish throne through a series of fortunate inheritances. His domains included not only Spain and its burgeoning American colonies, but also the Netherlands, parts of Italy, and other European holdings. The Habsburgs' strategy of marry and inherit allowed them to amass an empire where the sun never set, but this came at a steep genetic cost. Close kin marriages between cousins, uncles, and nieces, and even more entangled relations, were employed to preserve family unity, prevent territorial fragmentation, and secure alliances without diluting bloodlines. However, this practice amplified deleterious recessive genes, leading to a host of physical and mental afflictions that plagued the family. Historical narratives often spotlight the male figures, such as the infamous Charles II, whose severe disabilities earned him the moniker the Bewitched. His protruding jaw, infertility, and early death in 1700 marked the end of the male line, triggering the War of the Spanish Succession and the transition to Bourbon rule. Yet the women of the dynasty were equally ensnared in this genetic quagmire. As daughters, wives, and mothers, they were instrumental in perpetuating the lineage, often at great personal expense. These women, born into webs of consanguinity, suffered from high inbreeding coefficients, which quantified the probability of inheriting identical genes from common ancestors. Their stories reveal not only individual tragedies, shortened lives, repeated miscarriages, and fragile offspring, but also the broader implications for the empire: political instability, succession crises, and societal repercussions. This template explores the lives of some of the most inbred women in the Spanish Habsburg dynasty, focusing on figures like Maria Antonia of Austria, who holds the record for the highest inbreeding coefficient at 0.3053, surpassing even that of offspring from parent-child or sibling unions. We will also examine her mother, Margaret Teresa of Spain, her grandmother, Mariana of Austria, and earlier generations, including Maria Anna of Spain, Anna of Austria, and Margaret of Austria. Drawing from scientific analyses and historical accounts, we uncover how these women's experiences epitomize the dark side of Habsburg ambition, the human toll of prioritizing power over health. Scientifically, inbreeding depression, the reduced biological fitness in offspring of closely related parents, manifested profoundly in the Habsburgs. A landmark 2009 study published in PLOS One by Gonzalo Alvarez and team analyzed pedigrees of 3,000 individuals across 16 generations, calculating inbreeding coefficients, F, that escalated over time. For the Spanish kings, F rose from 0.025 in Philip I to 0.254 in Charles II, correlating with a 17.8% decrease in child survival for each 0.0625 increase in F. Women. The visible hallmark of this inbreeding was the Habsburg jaw, or mandibular prognathism, a protruding lower jaw that impaired functions like eating and speaking. Genetic analyses link this to inbreeding, explaining 22% of its variance in the family. While more pronounced in males, women like Margaret Teresa displayed subtle traits in portraits. Beyond physical deformities, inbreeding contributed to infertility, miscarriages, and early deaths. For instance, the dynasty's infant mortality rate hovered at 50%, far exceeding norms of the era. Politically, these women were pawns in a high-stakes game. Marriages were arranged from childhood, often to relatives, to maintain the family's grip on power. The Salic law, which prioritized male inheritance, necessitated producing heirs, placing immense pressure on women to bear children despite genetic risks. Their failures, real or perceived, could ignite wars, as seen with Maria Antonia's lineage sparking the War of the Spanish Succession. Socially, the consequences extended to scapegoating, such as Margaret Theresa's role in the expulsion of Vienna's Jewish community amid her grief over lost children. In exploring these lives, we see intelligent, cultured individuals trapped by tradition. Maria Antonia composed music. Margaret Theresa patronized the arts. Yet their legacies are overshadowed by the dynasty's collapse. This template aims to illuminate their stories, drawing on historical records and modern genetics to reveal how inbreeding not only doomed individuals, but dismantled an empire. As a cautionary tale, it underscores the perils of genetic isolation, resonating in contemporary discussions of royal families and population genetics. Understanding the plight of Habsburg women requires delving into the genetics of inbreeding, a practice that transformed royal strategy into biological catastrophe. Inbreeding occurs when closely related individuals mate, increasing the likelihood of offspring inheriting two copies of deleterious recessive alleles. This leads to inbreeding depression, manifesting as reduced fertility, increased disease susceptibility, and higher mortality. The Habsburgs exemplify this on a grand scale, with their pedigrees serving as a natural experiment in human genetics. The foundational study by Alvarez et al. In 2009 utilized comprehensive family trees to compute F-values, measuring the probability of homozygosity by descent. For unrelated parents, F0; for first cousins, F00625; for uncle niece, F0125. In the Spanish Habsburgs, cumulative inbreeding pushed F higher. Queens like Mariana had F0155, while their children like Charles II reached .254. Recent advancements, including a 2025 SciPost report, revealed gender-specific effects. Inbred women exhibited shorter lifespans. Deformities like the Habsburg jaw were polygenic, exacerbated by homozygosity. Craniofacial analyses link it to inbreeding, with higher F individuals showing more severe prognathism. Women, though less documented, likely suffered subtler versions, impacting their health indirectly through associated conditions like dental issues or respiratory problems. Why persist with inbreeding? Political imperatives drove it. 81.8% of marriages were consanguineous, with only 2 non-incestuous in 11 Spanish unions. The 1556 partition separated Spanish and Austrian branches, but intermarriages continued, amplifying risks. Uncle-niece pairs like Philip IV and Mariana were common to secure heirs quickly. For women, consequences were acute. High F led to miscarriages. Margaret Theresa had multiple, and postpartum deaths, as with Maria Antonia. Fertility declined. The dynasty's average children per marriage dropped. Compared to other inbred royals like the Ptolemies, the Habsburgs' documentation allows precise quantification, showing similar extinctions. Modern tools, like Banyan DNA simulations, illustrate how inbreeding erodes genetic diversity, increasing recessive disorder risks. Portraits analyzed in a University of Nebraska study correlate facial asymmetries with F values, blaming high miscarriages on depression. Awareness was limited. Afflictions were attributed to curses, not genetics. This science frames the women's tragedies as inevitable outcomes of dynastic policy. To expand on the mechanisms, consider how inbreeding increases the expression of recessive disorders. In a normal population, harmful alleles are rare and heterozygous, masked by dominant normal alleles. But in inbred lines, homozygosity rises, unmasking these traits. For the Habsburgs, this meant a buildup of conditions like hemophilia, though more associated with later royals, endocrine disorders, and skeletal malformations. Charles II, for example, suffered from combined pituitary hormone deficiency and distal renal tubular acidosis, likely recessive traits amplified by inbreeding. Studies on animal models parallel this. In captive populations like cheetahs or island species, inbreeding leads to similar depressions in fertility and survival. Human studies from isolated communities such as Amish or Icelandic populations show analogous effects, with higher rates of genetic diseases. The Habsburg data, however, is unique for its depth, spanning centuries and documented through royal archives. Further, epigenetic factors may have played a role. Recent research suggests inbreeding can alter gene expression without changing DNA sequences, potentially exacerbating phenotypes. While not directly studied in Habsburgs, this could explain variability in symptom severity among similarly inbred individuals. The psychological toll is less quantified but evident. Women like Mariana dealt with the stress of regency amid a declining empire, compounded by personal losses. Grief from child deaths could lead to depression, affecting governance. Margaret Theresa's scapegoating of minorities reflects how genetic woes intersected with societal prejudices. In sum, the science reveals inbreeding as a multifaceted destroyer: biological, reproductive, and societal. For Habsburg women, it meant lives cut short, bodies burdened, and legacies tainted by the very bloodlines meant to elevate them. Maria Antonia of Austria stands as the epitome of Habsburg inbreeding with an F of 0.3053, higher than theoretical maxima for sibling or parent-child unions. Born January 18, 1669 in Vienna to Emperor Leopold I and niece Margaret Theresa, her genealogy featured repeated consanguineous loops causing pedigree collapse. Intelligent and musical, she composed and spoke languages fluently. Married at 15 to Maximilian II, Emmanuel of Bavaria in 1685, the union was unhappy due to infidelity. As potential Spanish heiress, she renounced claims but remained politically pivotal. She bore 3 sons, all dying young. Joseph Ferdinand's 1699 death precipitated war, died at 23 from childbirth complications. Her story highlights inbreeding's personal and geopolitical toll. Maria Antonia's early life was steeped in the opulence of the Viennese court, but shadowed by her family's genetic legacy. Her birth was celebrated as the only surviving child of her parents' union, yet it came after multiple miscarriages, a pattern that would repeat in her own life. Educated by tutors in literature, music, and languages, she showed promise as a composer, with surviving scores indicating a talent for opera and chamber music. Contemporaries described her as witty and engaging, traits that contrasted with the physical frailties often associated with her high inbreeding. Her marriage to Maximilian was arranged to bolster Bavarian-Austrian ties amid tensions with France. The wedding in Innsbruck was lavish, but the relationship soured quickly. Maximilian's military ambitions and extramarital affairs left Maria Antonia isolated, her letters revealing loneliness and frustration. Politically, as Charles II's niece, she was eyed as a successor, leading to intricate negotiations. Her 1687 renunciation was conditional, preserving options if Charles died childless. Pregnancies defined her brief adulthood. Leopold Ferdinand died in infancy in 1686, Anton was stillborn in 1687, and Joseph Ferdinand, born 1692, seemed healthy but succumbed to illness at 6. Medical records suggest congenital weaknesses, possibly heart defects or infections exacerbated by inbreeding. Maria Antonia's death followed Joseph's birth from puerperal fever, a common killer in the era, but likely worsened by her constitution. The aftermath was chaotic. Joseph Ferdinand's designation as Spanish heir in Charles II's will fueled rival claims, igniting the War of the Spanish Succession. This conflict involved major powers, resulting in treaties that fragmented Habsburg holdings and elevated the Bourbons. Maria Antonia's life encapsulates the dark side, a brilliant woman reduced to a genetic vessel, her tragedies rippling across Europe. Her record F underscores how cumulative inbreeding peaked in her generation, dooming the line. Margaret Theresa, Infanta and Empress, had high consanguinity from uncle-niece parents. Born July 12, 1651, featured in Las Meninas. Married Uncle Leopold at 15, happy but strained by pregnancies. Died at 21, scapegoated Jews. Margaret Teresa's childhood in Madrid was one of privilege amid Spain's Golden Age decline. As Philip IV's daughter, she was groomed for a strategic marriage, betrothed early to Leopold. Velázquez's portraits capture her youthful charm, but hint at the jawline trait. The 1666 proxy marriage and journey to Vienna were arduous, but the union with Leopold was affectionate, united by theater and music. She became empress, influencing court culture with Spanish fashions. However, duty demanded heirs. 6 pregnancies in 6 years. Ferdinand Wenzel died in infancy. Maria died young. Johann Leopold, stillborn. Maria Antonia survived, and 2 miscarriages. Exhaustion led to her death during the 7th. Grief manifested darkly. Blaming curses, she advocated expelling Vienna's Jews in 1670, displacing thousands, a fusion of personal anguish and anti-Semitism. Her early demise left Leopold widowed, remarrying, but her line through Maria Antonia perpetuated the succession crisis. Margaret Teresa's story illustrates women as imperial pawns, their bodies sacrificed for the dynasty, with inbreeding accelerating decline. Mariana, with F0155, married Uncle Philip IV at 15, bore 5 children, regent during decline, died 1696. Born in Vienna, Mariana's youth was marked by Habsburg alliances. Her 1649 marriage to Philip, 30 years her senior, followed his heir's death. The union produced Margaret Teresa, Philip Prospero, died young, Ferdinand Thomas, infancy, Charles II, and an unnamed daughter, stillborn. Widowed in 1665, she regented for young Charles, navigating Franco-Spanish wars, economic woes, and court intrigues. Favoring Austrian ties, she clashed with factions, leading to coups and exiles. Her regency saw Spain's humiliation in treaties, symbolizing decay mirrored in Charles's frailties. Died of cancer in 1696, her life a testament to women's burdens in inbred dynasties. Maria Anna, with high F, married cousin Ferdinand III, born 1606, died in childbirth 1646. Her pregnancies highlighted risks. As Philip III's daughter, Maria Anna's 1631 marriage united branches, bore 6 children, including Mariana and Leopold. Her death during a 7th pregnancy left Ferdinand devastated. Her story shows early inbreeding effects, with child losses contributing to genetic load. Anna, Philip II's niece, married him in 1570. High inbreeding, bore heirs but died young. 4th wife, Anna, bore Ferdinand, died young. Carlos Lorenzo, infancy. Diego, young. Philip III, and others, died of influenza post-childbirth. Her union intensified consanguinity, setting the stage for later woes. Margaret, Philip III's cousin wife, contributed to the genetic load, died in 1611 after 8 children. Her progeny included Philip IV, perpetuating the line but amplifying risks.